Welcome back to Indie Reviews. Just saw Bad Boys for Life. Huge fan of the first two movies. Who doesn't like saying Michael Lowry?
One last time. One last time.
I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. Ass to clubs, bad boy, that's what's up.
He trying to do them all. We're not just black, we're cops too. We'll pull ourselves over later.
It's official. I survived what I've been through. Y'all got drama, the saga continues. Bad boys. Bad boys. We ain't going nowhere.
I had high hopes for this movie. Now they kept moving it further and further back. It was supposed to come out a couple years ago. I think there were supposed to be two movies. Obviously, we're only getting one. Or are we? I don't know, the ending was a little open-ended and confusing, but I'm guessing they had problems getting Martin Lawrence to commit to doing this movie, but thank God in the end he did, because he was by far the best actor in the entire movie. Now they had all the actors from the previous film returning, I guess except for those two Cuban cops that made fun of them the whole time, but they did have additional side characters to, make fun of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith for being old. Of course, Vanessa Hudgens was in it, a few other guys, I have no idea who they are. The former captain, I guess still the captain's in it. He's still hilarious, and he kind of reminds me of Bill Burr now that I think about it. But the acting was great overall. Martin Lawrence legit cried, you guys. I'm talking close up on his eyeball. You can see the tears in his eyes materialize and then stream down his face. It was pretty good, I've got to say, unless they have some sort of new CGI that I'm not familiar with. In the first 15 minutes of the movie, I was watching it and thinking, this is awesome. I was scoring it in my head. I was starting at like a 9.2 and thinking, I'll deduct points from there if anything happened. But then what happened was the rest of the movie. The problem with Bad Boys for Life is not that it's a bad movie, because it isn't, but compared to Bad Boys 2, and probably even Bad Boys 1, it's just not nearly as exciting, and it's a lot slower paced. I mean, some people got shot in cool ways, other people got wrecked and impaled in different ways. DJ Khaled was in it for some reason.
Another one. Another one.
But it just didn't give me the exciting pit of my stomach feeling that the other movies did, and for that reason it was disappointing. They kept playing off of old tropes and jokes from the previous movies, and then they'd just be like, oh, just kidding, we're not doing that. And I'm sitting there being like, no, do that. That's what made the movies good. For example, Bad Boys 1, great movie. You've got the Will Smith chase scene where he's running. Everybody loves a great Will Smith running scene. Bad Boys 2 had one of the greatest chase scenes of all time. It was long, it had driving, shooting, explosions, it was tense. It was one of my favorite scenes, probably in any movie ever. But in this movie, I kept thinking, how long have I been watching this? How long do I have to wait for this epic scene? And is it going to actually come? And it didn't. They did have a decent motorcycle scene, but it wasn't really long enough, and it was more... there was too much comedy in it. Then at the beginning of the movie, going back, they had a great driving scene with a Porsche 911, and that was awesome. The hairs on my wherever you want to imagine them standing up, they were standing up. I was like, holy crap, this movie's going to be great if you have this kind of driving and these types of scenes throughout the rest of the movie. But it just never came.
Oh, shit. Oh. Come on, man. You can get that buffed out. No, you can get that buffed out. Yeah. Knock, knock. Miami PD, get down! What the hell happened to knock and talk?
Hands behind your head right now.
I got this. I'm gonna penetrate this man's soul with my heart. What? Watch and learn. Sir, I realize that you're scared. Sometimes fear.
How deep you think you got in his soul?
So overall, as like a standalone movie, I'd give it somewhere around a 7.7. But, and it's a big but, ladies and gentlemen, if you were a big fan of Bad Boys 2, like me, and you're hoping to top that, or you're hoping for some sort of chase scene or shootout scene that's going to rival what you see in the second one, don't get your hopes up because it's not in there. And I just can't, and I'm sorry studio audience and millions of viewers at home, I just can't tell you to go and pay for this movie. I can't tell you to do that. If you were expecting the same caliber of action as Bad Boys 2, don't pay for it. So my final score is I'm giving it a 7.1. If you don't care about it being a sequel, if you're not trying to have it live up to any of your expectations, then go ahead and go see it. It's still a pretty good movie. Martin Lawrence is great. Like I said, people get impaled in it. Overall, the acting is really great, and people get shot a lot, so you're probably going to like that. But if you have high hopes like me, and you want to live up to Bad Boys 2, it's not gonna. Stay home instead. Save your money. Watch my channel all night instead. Send me hate messages if you'd like that. I like to do that anyways. This is How Andrew Reviews. See you next time.